Okay. Now, let's get started with the recap. The title probably kind of sounds a little bit confusing. It's not. Sorry about Dory's arts and crafts stuff. She's not here right now to help organize, so I'm gonna try to keep this place a little cleaner. As I said, we're not taking phone calls because that's how the whole problem started in the first place. Alright? And second, if I may only say is that I am frustrated. Now, you will see I created a new hashtag, actually two of them. I don't know which one's going to be more popular, but Justice for NASQ and Justice for Michelle. Now, the Justice for NASQ is to speak up for the work that I do. It's the North American Snow Queen, and how I've been. A lot of people don't really appreciate what the Snow Queen does. If that's maybe that's not clear, I don't know, but it's clear to me. Justice for NASQ is just like it sounds like is speaking up on the behalf of those who appreciate what the North American Snow Queen does and our importance of the role, and for the many years of service that I have done for the community at large, as a commentator, as a news source, and all the stuff that was going on for this girl Trudy. Was it seems like I was the one who was getting hit over the head by the baseball bat. And I thought that was unfair. So, I mean, you got these social justice warriors standing up for this girl, which I don't even personally know. I never met her myself. I don't really know much about her. I certainly can't say anything bad about her because I don't know anything about her in the first place. They're so close to me. Because I don't know anything about her, I've learned long ago, especially in doing radio work and television work, is you never know who's on the other side of that wire. So you try to treat everybody decently. But there are times, unfortunately, when it gets hard to treat people decently because they don't treat you with the same respect back. And so you start to feel like you're battling an uphill battle against something that is almost unbelievably complicated. Now, ever since Dory had this Trudy on her phone on her show, please know I said her show. Yes, Trudy has been on my show too, but unfortunately, again with my hearing loss, I have tried to hold a conversation with Trudy on my phone and have constantly found it to be difficult to do. And that was because I have hearing loss. I think Dory has other issues which I don't really know how to answer at this point. Just to say is that she decided to take Trudy's voice personally as somebody impersonating Hansi. As far as who threatened who, I don't know the exact details. I did not hear what Hansi said. But I certainly did hear what Dory said is, if you call the show again, I'll call the police. Well, that's kind of extreme since the girl Trudy was pretty nice anyway. Alright? So ever since that time, I have basically found my foot in a bear trap. I have been, I got these people been hammering my channel for the last few days, okay? Because I chose to want to remain like Switzerland and try to remain out of the fray. Because frankly, I don't really feel all these things that the SJWs want to do is really worth the time and effort to file a civil case against somebody who, as I said to them, as I would do my best to try to get Dory and Hansi and Trudy together on a phone call and to discuss the issue. and they said I would do that. Unfortunately, I have not been able to reach Trudy. Neither she has contacted me through Google Plus or Google Hangouts. So I have no way of reaching Trudy and asking her what's going on. I have a phone number that's associated with her, but I don't know if that phone number is still under her control or if she's still answering it. So it's really up to Trudy to call me and try to schedule time when the three of us can have a private Google Hangouts, and then possibly at a later time go into a public Google Hangouts to cover this topic. That is a fact that is not going to change. Well, what I should do is pause the screen on the other end. Yeah, well, you just try to see how it looks. I gotta check out how it looks. And, yeah, pause it too. So let's see if anybody actually is joining us to this impromptu show. I don't see anybody, but that doesn't surprise me. So what I'm going to do is let's get this show on the road, shall we? So the first thing I'm going to do is go to events here. Yeah, I know I could have easily used Google Hangouts on air, except it's not compatible with the other microphone, with this camera. So, I decided not to, but, I certainly could have used Google Hangouts on air with the built-in iPhone, or, heaven forbid, the UVC adapter, which, frankly, I just didn't want to deal with right now for this test. So the first thing I'm going to do is let's share this, let's put this in our playlist so I can get to it. Unfortunately, it's at the bottom of my screen. Okay. And we're going to share this with Facebook and Dig and get these people to on the air. If you're wondering where I am, guys, I am off camera right at the second, sharing these links to everybody. On the in-house SD PAL copy, obviously I will be editing out some of the off-camera moments that really kind of don't need to be in the video. So it will be more of a refined production, but I wanted to take the time to straighten out this matter. So I'm going to try select North American snow queens. Okay. Post to Facebook. And tweet that. And Google it. Google Plus it, because that seems where most of my user base is located, is in Google Plus. So I'm going to tweet to them too. Oh yeah. Alright, now, like I said in my video, I never said, I had the 3 hashtags onto, you sure we send those 3 out to Twitter? I can't. Why? Because I just posted it already. Oh, okay. So, right now it's in Google Plus as 3 hashtags. Alright, so, let's get back to the main channel here. Okay, now I will be taking some questions. I should let people know that. So if you want to try to chat with me on YouTube, you certainly can. I am taking some online chat questions today. If you would like to post some or comments, I will be checking every so often as I go through the broadcast. Okay, so now I got that all straightened out. Okay. Now, as I said, I don't approve of what Dory did. And I never said I approved of what Dory did. The only thing that has been good out of this whole fiasco is the number of viewers of my videos and comments on my videos has been increasing. That's good. But now let's talk about why we need justice for the NASQ. Let's get into that in more detail. Ever since I developed my channel 6 years ago, or 7 years ago, 2016, I actually started around 2011, okay? My channel originally was a channel for me to kind of speak my mind about issues in the world. As in the last few years, the channel had become more and more of a news channel. Because it is not mainstream media, I lost almost all of my advertising. Almost everything. Poof, gone. Because I was not mainstream news, and I was talking about news topics. The few advertisers I had that's still around, continuing to support my channel. I'm not the only one who's been affected by this. Alex Jones has been, Lisa Haven has been, BP Earthwatch has been, many of us have been affected by that. Okay? Some of us are doing this as a living. We're trying to make a living out of it. Now, we all know the great success story with InfoWars, and that InfoWars has his InfoWars Life products that he sells on his InfoWars store, which has been financing his channel. Now, that's great if you can manage to make that happen. Of course, we know Lisa Haven's been marketing Get the Tea and Food for Liberty, and also Garrett Franchi has been promoting a few products as well. I'm not, at this point, working with Get the Tea. I might be considering it, getting involved with Food for Liberty and Get the Tea, because, frankly, guys, I really need to bring in some money. The studio is old. The equipment is creaky. It's not working as well as it could. It just needs to be renovated. It's been 10 years. The studio's been held together by spit and chewing gum, literally in some cases, and it's not helping me or you or anyone else. The next thing is that I need more staff. I'm pulling 20-hour days, literally 20 hours. I go to sleep about 6, 8 in the morning. I wake up about briefly to let the cat in and or out, and make sure Dory's up for her appointments, and then I go back to sleep. And I sleep for maybe for another 2 to 4 hours. Wake up about 10:30, go to the soup kitchen, sit there, research the news, and my day starts the same way every day. The only 2 days I really have to myself is on Saturday and Sunday. Hi, Mr. Cat. Well, Rusty's doing better. Yeah. At least he looks like he's got a good, nice high quality scab. And I do see the new skin growing. That's a good thing. But anyway, so I mean, I've been putting a lot of work into this channel for a long time. And remember, I said originally 6 years ago that I wanted to do live streaming, but at the time that I didn't have the technology to do it. We barely have the technology now. Our computers, both of them, both Macs, have a hard time keeping up with the data flux of a live stream. I did manage to try to manage to get the Power Mac G5 to live stream, and that didn't go well. Of course, it was so bad. I erased a few successful attempts because it just didn't work great. So now what about the Justice for Michelle one? That's a little different than the Justice for NESQ. That's for the people who support Michelle the person, not Michelle the North American Snow Queen. Like the Justice for Trudy one, the whole problem with the Justice for Michelle thing is that Michelle, which is me, is legally blind, has hearing loss, has other health issues, has a problem with thyroid, and yet every day I work my hardest to make and try to provide, act as a peacemaker, and try to bring closure to issues around me. And every day is a thankless task because I really, really don't get a lot of people who say to me, hey, Michelle is important too. She's doing her best. She's multiply handicapped. She sits in front of this camera every day. She does her news every day. She tries to explain things as she sees them every day. And Michelle, of course, is the North American Snow Queen. I cover a lot of weather stuff, and I gotta feed the cat. Yep, gotta feed the cat. Gotta feed the kitty. I'm gonna feed him. And while I'm at it, he's actually walked away. Yeah. Okay, let's take a look if there's any questions at the same time since I'm over here. And the answer is no. Okay. So anyway, I think this a lot of YouTubers would say the same thing. A lot of YouTube producers. These channels take a lot of work to do. Even if you're taping them, even if you're recording them onto a hard drive, even if you're just doing, making a video and then uploading them at a later time, there's absolutely a lot of work that goes in the background. So it's not like, something that's easy and quick, and it takes a lot of work and a lot of meditation and thought. And I'm going to see how this is looking. I know this is probably going to mess up the stream a little bit. Alright, it doesn't look too bad. Let's take a quick look at the video here. So the other thing is, of course, is my job as a North American Snow Queen, as I said, covers the weather. That's the main topic. We've been covering the weather now for several years, and so this thing is creaky slow. Well, you're only dealing with ADSL, 1 megabit per second up and 6 megabits per second down. Which brings up a whole nother question. Which is this. Why does it matter if you do YouTube videos or not? I mean, what's the whole reason for doing them? I like doing YouTube videos because they allow me to speak up about what I see as the problems of the world around me. Okay? And that's why I do them. It doesn't mean I do a great job, but it means I do them because I'm just gonna take a quick watch this and see how it's playing. Okay, that's good enough. The picture looks pretty good. Yeah. Alright. Now, so every day is research day. My days, as I said, I get anywhere from 2 to 4 hours of sleep at night. Sometimes in the afternoon, I may take a nap before the live shows with Lumi, because obviously me and her share the same flesh, so I have to get up with Lumi. And of course, I help with Dory's production on her show because she doesn't know how to do production. And so there's a lot of work that goes on behind the scenes. It's not just something as simple as, okay, well, some people you can show them how it's done once and they will remember it and they will successfully manage to do it the next time by themselves. But Dory, unfortunately, has learning handicaps as well and really can't do that. With Dory, I have to kind of show her several times in a row before she picks up on how it's done. And that's, time consuming because it's sure, I love to show her once how it's done and have it work for her, but with Dory, it doesn't happen that way. Okay? But, as I said, these videos take a lot of work to do. They're not lightweight videos. They're not like just quick grab my cell phone out of my purse and just shoot a few, minutes of me just flapping my guns on the camera. I do that too, but even then, those still take a lot of research in the background. For example, I mentioned about what's going on with Winston Super Saver. So let me kind of fill in the void for you who may not know the details. The Planning and Zoning Commission denied the special request because there was a very strong request for comments from the community that says, no, we don't want this. The vote was 3-2 against giving a special permit to the community health and wellness, because as it was the planning and zoning said, based on the information that we were given from the people who commented, they don't want to see downtown Winston irrevocably damaged or destroyed by taking away a potential retail block of businesses. Okay? After all, you think it's just going to be the one building. The health centers are like a cancer. They tend to grow like crabgrass. They start out as one little thing, a couple offices, and all of a sudden they're taking up over a whole, they're taking up several city blocks. And then, of course, there was the issue of parking and all this stuff. But the Planning and Zoning Commissioner said, no, we don't want that. So, ain't gonna happen. Okay, well, John Don's still retiring. Ed said, well, maybe he's retiring because he's mad because he didn't get a chance to sell his building free and clear to the Health and Wellness Center of Torrington. No, it didn't. It's not the reason. He still wants to retire. That is a fact. Okay? So he's still planning to close on May 31st. That's a fact. That's not going to change. Okay? Now, there's a thing called the Mad River Food Co-op. Now, I want to bring this in because this is something that is looking to start a grocery store of its own for the reasons that they realize, like I've said, that Winston needs a healthy food option. maybe they may very well make a deal and buy the Winston Super Saver and use that to have a larger store to carry more products. Because right now the Winston health food store is on the corner of the same block, but it's kind of wedged in there, and probably will need a bigger space. So yeah, they might decide to buy that Winston Super Saver and work there instead. Next thing, let's cover this, is that John Juan said something I did not get a chance to research it. He said that 50% of the people in Winston are technically can't really afford to maintain a small town grocery store like that because 56% of the residents are below the poverty line. Very interesting figure. I had to admit, I did not expect to see that much. But Winston is very much like a lot of towns that have kind of seen the better days go past, and we're all looking forward to Donald Trump's revitalization to bring factories back. But Winston also has a governor in the state that doesn't want to do his job, and is I've heard of Daniel Pimo. I may not be going for election, but we certainly don't want to get another governor in his office that is only going to add to the woes of Winston. But some people ask me, what's the difference between a Winston hillbilly and a Kentucky hillbilly? Or a Georgia hillbilly? Not a bloody thing. We're all the same. It's just like Appalachia. We're all suffering the same way to some extent. Yes, I am a Winston hillbilly. Yes, they call us the Raggies, but you know what? Here's the thing. The Raggies was a group of iron workers from Eastern Europe that came into this country, I think, and established themselves around Lakeville, around a place called Lake Ragu, which is a small little mountain top. They were very smart, very skilled iron workers that came in here back in the 18th and 19th century, and there are a few of them still remaining. But the majority of the Raggies have kind of faded out. Now everybody in Winston is called Raggies. Well, I really like the term hillbilly because I also grew up in the hills of East Hartland, which is the foothills of Avon Mountain. So yeah, well, okay, there's nothing wrong with that. If you watch Hollywood Hillbilly, seeing them cooking a steak on the top of a shopping cart, and then or chicken, and then somebody filling up putting a plastic pool in the back of a pickup truck and go taking an impromptu swimming pool. Yeah, that's Winston for you. We do the same thing. You sure do. We sure do. But not to insult my people, guys. I'm just saying that's the way we are. Winston is a very clanny, close-knit community. We really are. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. That is why the people in Winston have said, no, we don't want another health center in this town because it's not going to help the town. It's going to add to the town's woes because it will be tax exempt. Winston already has lost a lot of its tax base, so we don't need any more tax exempt anything. We don't need any more health clinics. We got one that's being built on the east end of Winston over by Canton City Cycles. We have the other one, which is up there, or the old Winston Memorial Hospital is. We don't need a third. I said that a couple days ago. Okay, we don't need a third. So, I'm also, like I said, I do all this news research and to dig into all these stories to find out what's going on, and I wanted to make sure you understood that I did indeed do my homework for finding out what was going on with the story of Winston. Now, let's get to the next part of my daily routine, which is the weather forecast. As you will probably notice right now, it's not that bad out there. There is still clouds. It is kind of, they're kind of thin. Thin clouds. It was better than yesterday. Yesterday was cold and clammy and icky and stuff like that. So It's 14 degrees right now. It is mostly cloudy. That's what it says. Okay. From the IPCC Loving Weather Channel. I still have to find another weather site. That is. I'm not going to keep pushing the IPCC playbook. So here we go with the forecast for the next few days. Okay. Sunday, 40% chance of precipitation. Low today will be 48 degrees Celsius. Chance of precipitation is 40%. Monday, a high of 16. Rain is in the forecast at 16 as a high, 9 as a low. 50% chance of precipitation. Tuesday, high of 23 degrees. Sunny, low of 13 degrees. Wednesday, high at 29 degrees, 18 is low, 10% chance of precipitation. That would be partly cloudy. And of course, Thursday, high of 31, a low of 19, 20% chance of precipitation. I don't usually go into the more expanded forecast as anything, but it looks like they'll be, after we have a brief heater, things will be in the low 20s, so about 23, 21, and 20, so, and maybe in a few 19s. Not bad overall, but it's, as I said, because the IPCC has influenced the Weather Channel so much, I can't be sure of the long-term forecast, especially if, since they simply don't seem to know their ass from a hole in the ground, and they don't, and I really get really upset with that. Let me see if there's any other video news here that gets my excitement up. I don't see anything in the immediate time as far as any emails that came in. So let's take a look and see what's going on with Fox News. I check a whole bunch of sources. I don't just use one. I just went to Fox News is just quick and easy to load up, and I can just go through it real quick. It's a weekend, so usually this is the time. Hard Truth surge in opioid death spurs grimly candid obituaries. McConnell's FBI pick senator thinks Garland is a fantastic idea. Ex-advisor. Tighten the screws. Haley vows U.S. will press North Korea after missile launch. Cyber trouble ahead. More victims expected as users return to work. Remember this Y cry or cry Y or whatever as it happened on the weekend. But there is some potential good news. I'll get to that in a second. Bellwether, China's silky threat to U.S. leadership in global trade. Woman charged with shooting, killing, and following eviction from parents' mansion. What? Woman charged with shooting, killing dad, following eviction from parents' mansion. Really? How vitamin D affects the rheumatoid arthritis. Eric Sean exclusive. Exiled Iran prince vows Mullah's regime will fail. New Jersey family booted from JetBlue flight to Vegas after spat with crew member. Torch-yielding group rallies against removal of Virginia's Confederate statue. Ohio investigators search for locations in Rhodeon family murder probe. Bin Laden's son proposed to become Al-Qaeda leader. Letter seized in raid, reportedly revealed. Trayson Martin receives posthumous aeronautical science degree. On Mother's Day, the things I should have told my mom. Okay, big up topic. What be a good topic? I guess it is say Mother's Day, so I guess we'll talk about some things. Um, Liver transplant recipient left homeless after Colorado hailstorm. Authorities offer 10 grand for info leading to killer of rare Yellowstone white wolf. Man dies after setting himself on fire while on Facebook Live. Police say, well, I think was that his intent, or was that a mistake? Possibly both. Okay. Teacher fired for giving student a Bible gets his job back. Man accused of beating boy who gave Mother's Day card to grandma, not her. So his mom is accused of beating a boy who gave his Mother's Day card to his grandmother and not her. Gold Star mom published children's books in son's memory. Then last one, New York eyes taxalizer to combat to combat distracted driving. Okay, so let's talk about the last one. Things I never told my mother. Well, first of all, my mother and I have not really got along good for many years. So you might think I tried to give my mom a Mother's Day card a couple years ago when it was at UConn. She ripped it up. So that just tells you how much my mother loves me. Before we moved to New Hartford, we lived in East Hartland. My mother was very much happily located in a place where people spoke her native language of Norwegian, and she was happily involved with the immediate family that is of Norwegian ancestry. They all spoke the Norwegian language. My aunt Swanhill, my mother, several other relatives that we all knew us, and we were all happy, clannish people. In fact, we still are. But when I went up to me and my mother after she was kind of had the foresight of the fact is that my father could not make it out there in East Hartland anymore. His business had taken a nosedive. It was the time of the energy crisis. He ended up basically going into bankruptcy, and my mother felt ever since that time that her whole world has shattered around her. And I've talked about my father's events before, but I'll just talk briefly about him. That ever since that time, he up until about 1977, my father hit the bottle hard. But sometimes he'd come home and he would just go crazy. Finally, in 1976, he made a vow that he would stop drinking, and he had done that. So that's one of the reasons my father remains my hero, because he said no more, and he lived by his promise to the day he passed away. So, however, my mother did not understand anything about why I was different than other kids. The fact that obviously I'm legally blind, I have hearing loss, and the fact I'm also hermaphrodite. My mother then, of course, the distance between us grew bigger and bigger and bigger. And then at the time I was still kind of living at home, getting ready for college at UConn. My mother said to me, and she said it many times in the past since, but this is the first time she said, "Go get AIDS and drop dead." Well, excuse me, Mom, but I'm not an IV drug user, and I don't do sex. I still don't. Even to this day, I am not into sexual activity, and I don't do drugs, so getting AIDS now. But if my mom said, "Go get just congenital liver disease and die," she would be correct. I have a family congenital liver condition, which unfortunately I'm taking medications for. It's my liver that's likely to kill me, not AIDS. My mother didn't seem to realize that. I don't think she realized that I also got the family hearing loss problem too. So all that is, what I like to tell my mother? What I like to tell my mother is Mom, as much as that I appreciate that you tried to raise me, I just don't appreciate the fact that you treated me like shit in the last few years of my life. I have always been good to you, and I have always did my best to be your best child I could. I know that you and Dad worked hard to make my childhood and my young adulthood better than it could have been. I have no problems with that, and I appreciate what was done. But I sure to hell don't appreciate you telling me over and over to get a terminal disease and die. That does not come across to me as a very loving person. Okay? Now, so you want to talk about justice for Michelle. Now you know why Michelle wants justice. Because frankly, I never totally got over that. And that sucks. People don't realize that there's a lot more behind the camera that happens than you even know. Because that's the Trinity thing. I guess that's reasonable, right? It happens everywhere. But the truth is that there's so much about me you don't know. All you see is part of my story. You don't see the whole thing. There are things that hurt so damn much I just can't bring up on camera. No wonder, like Elsa, I basically walked away, slammed the door, and said, "Get the fuck out of my face." You think about it. But yet, at the same time, part of me wants to be there, wants to support you, wants to help you, wants to bring the light into the world. But either my eyesight or my hearing is also adding to the complications. The complications of my hearing loss and my eyesight is enough to drive anybody ape. Now, I'm trying to overcome my limitations, my health limitations, my handicaps, my physical limitations, to do a good job as best I can. And I really would wish that somebody would please put those two hashtags into circulation. Hash justice for Michelle and hash justice for NASQ. Because you only know a little bit about me, but you don't know how much I have been emotionally hurt over the many years of my life. And to be constantly having people poking fingers at me and saying that I was, that I'm mean to Trudy, or I was rude to Trudy, or I was an accessory to the abuse of Trudy, tells me something that somebody did not know the other side of the story. Now, I'm 49 years old, guys. And like any other 49-year-old, I have problems with my health. And every day, as I said, I do 20-hour days. I sleep for about 4 hours average. I get up and I'm out there. And I have my nose stuck in my little phone up to my nose, just so I can read the stories and the news and to try to understand what's going on in this crazy world. That takes a lot of time. It does not, give me a lot of time to enjoy things. I would love to have a couple additional commentators, people, volunteers, for example, who would come in and help me research the news, put the news stories together, get them organized, so that we can start to be more professional looking. But unfortunately, because I don't have this, because nobody's interested. Really. Monique was, but she had problems in the end, which I'm not going to go into. Okay? I'm just saying is, I, as a commentator, find this whole situation, it's a thankless task. Nobody seems to really think of what's going on with YouTubers. But now I'm going to go over to the computer for a few minutes, and I said I would. So let me turn the camera over that way, so at least my other taped audience can see the screen, and I can at least try to cover. So. Okay. So let's take so many online questions, if there is any. There isn't any. There is no questions. I guess that's fine. All right. For the now, time being, let me just say one thing, and then I'm gonna get ready to wrap it up. You still excited about talking about transgenderism tomorrow? Oh man, I don't know. So, I'm just looking at some of the obvious comment. So, alright, so anyway, here's the story. Okay, everybody, I watched this video. I want to thank you all for watching this. Again, I'm sorry that doesn't appear to be any online comments on this video. It doesn't particularly surprise me. Just kind of makes me sad that people are not really posting anything, but that's okay. I'm sure I'll get plenty of comments after the end of the video. So, for now, I want to thank you for watching this impromptu video, and I'm hoping that in the near future we will have more constructive videos. But for now, I want you all to continue to watch the live streams, and that's it. That's all I can ask, right? So for now, I'll see you guys later, okay? Oh, Michelle, hold on, before you hit stop. Yeah. Can I just say something real quick? Don't forget. Monday, 5 o'clock, my video. That's right. And, so, yeah. Okay, so, you didn't set me up, did you? I don't think I did. I'm glad you brought that up, Luma. I don't know. I may have forgotten to set you up. Shame. We'll get it done. Okay. But for now, just remember, guys, Monday, 5 p.m. Eastern Time. It's my show. And of course, Dory has one, if she's up to it, Thursday. And Michelle will do hers on Friday, like always. And of course, she do the morning vlogs every day, too. But how are you guys doing? I got the meds out of the back, but I gotta get some more right out, too. It looks tight. Sounds like my left eye's starting to see a little bit of haze. Not too bad, but I'm gonna take care of it. Alright, guys. So that's it for now. See you guys soon. Bye.